guys, welcome back to Supernatural Saturday. I'm Coco, and every Saturday I sit down and talk about one haunted paranormal location or just an unexplained event. Today, from the title, obviously you can tell that I'm going to be talking about dream visitations and, more importantly, my personal story of when my mom visited me in a dream. For those of you who don't know me, my mom passed away 3 years ago. She passed away December 3rd of 2016 from metastatic melanoma. Here is my PSA to everybody. If you have any suspicious mark on your body, please go get checked out. It's not worth it to let it sit there and worry about it and then let it go so far that you can't do anything about it down the line. My mom had this mole on the back of her leg for years, and we always called it her cancer mole, and we knew exactly what it was and kept telling her to go to the doctor, and she just never did. And until it was too late, she went when it was oozing pus and it hurt, and it was, obviously by that point it was metastasized. So in case you're wondering where my last Saturday video went, why I don't have one up, it's because I planned to do this video last Saturday and I pushed it off because it's a hard video to record. I know that I'm gonna cry at some point. Some days it's a lot easier to talk about her than other days, but today I feel like I got a sign that I should sit down and record this because I was going to record my Wednesday video. Now you're wondering where my Wednesday video went. So I had this case all researched. I was gonna sit down in front of the camera on Wednesday morning and talk about it, but people were mowing outside, so I couldn't start immediately. So I go on YouTube to just pass the time until the people are done. And lo and behold, Stephanie Harlow, like true crime queen of YouTube, had uploaded the case that I was working on, and I decided not to step on her toes and upload the same case on the same day. I didn't feel like competing with her because she's too good. She's so good, and I didn't want to compare my video to hers, so I ended up not filming that video, and I'm filming this one instead. Because what are the odds that me and her would try and upload the same video, the same case, on the same day? Like, crazy odds. I don't know how it happened, but it did. I took it as a sign to sit down and record this because, I mean, I should. I think if it can help at least one person, then I've done my job. A little backstory on my mom. She was Mama Bear. She was the most incredible mom. Like, you could not mess with her cubs. She was so freaking strong. And it was funny because she was only like 5 foot nothing. She was this little tiny tot running around in this big suburban with her 4 children, and she was wild. And she also loved Halloween and Christmas were the 2 holidays that we always went all out for. Like Halloween, we had the crazy outfits and the whole home is decorated, and king-size candy bars. That was our family. We gave out king-size candy bars. Like, we did it all. And Christmas, like, she would listen to Christmas music year-round if she could. She was just Miss Christmas. We would always go out and get a live tree, no fake trees, and usually around my birthday. My birthday's December 9th. Usually around my birthday, we would go pick out the tree and set it up and listen to Christmas music and decorate the house together, and it was a really fun time. So she got diagnosed in the summer of 2012, and honestly, no one really thought much of it. I don't know if she was just being strong for everybody or what, but because I mean the doctors pretty much gave her like a year to live after that. They were like, it's metastatic. There's like a helicopter flying over right now. Could you hear that? Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, my mom, when she got diagnosed, and the doctors told her, like, yeah, we'll cut it off. It's probably nothing. It's probably just a small skin cancer, not melanoma. Could be something else. So they cut it off. They call her back. They're like, hey, it's melanoma. You need to come back. Most likely it's not in your lymph nodes though. Like, don't worry. It's so rare for it to be that far along. Like, it'll be simple. So they cut deeper. It's still there. So they go into her lymph nodes, and it's in every single lymph node that they tested. They tested the max amount that they're allowed to test. And I found out that it was spread through her body, and she immediately started treatment. At that time, she was diagnosed as stage 3B, so it was more than 3, but less than 4, I guess. And after a year of treatment and going through all of that, she was so resilient, like so strong. I admire how strong of a woman she was. Like, she was so sick and couldn't really walk well because they took lymph nodes out of her leg, and that regulates your lymph fluid, and it was just building up in her legs, and her legs always hurt, and she kept working. She had a big smile on her face. She was so positive. And after a year, they went back and found out that it was actually worse, and she got diagnosed officially as stage 4 and started the next leg of treatment, and she kept getting treated. Sometimes there was some encouraging things. I mean, it was getting a little bit better, and then it would get a little worse, and then it would get better again, and then get worse. She kept working for as long as she could, which, oh my gosh, the job that she had, I worked it with her a lot. Me and my little sister, we all worked at the Drury Hotel in Franklin, Tennessee. We worked breakfast, and if anyone's been there, you know how large the breakfast is. It is not a simple breakfast. There's everything that you can think of, and the breakfast staff was always understaffed. It was such a physically tolling job, and for her to be doing it with cancer, while undergoing treatments, with her bad legs because of the treatments, and she had a bad back too. I mean, just the resilience and the strength. Like, she was absolutely incredible, and I hope to have just a little bit of that in the future. Eventually, December of 2015, I got engaged, and my husband actually went and asked permission. He tricked me. He told me that he had to study for something, so he couldn't come and see me that night. He actually just drove down to Nashville to ask my parents. And they were so excited. My mom almost blew it. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, I just want to talk about my mom because she was so incredible, but she almost blew it. So after he had asked, my mom starts sending me wedding things, and she was like, aren't these cute? You could have them at like your future wedding. And I was like, haha, cute, Mom. Yeah, maybe. Oh, because my new last name is Yandel, she'd send me like these Ys, like big wooden Ys, like, wouldn't this be adorable with this kind of setup? Yeah, Mom, that'd be cool. Like, she's so bad at keeping secrets. I didn't have any clue, honestly. I got really lucky that I didn't think anything of it. It was hilarious. And then I got asked, and I called her, and I was like, Mom, you almost blew it. Like, what were you thinking? But it was hilarious, and like, that was around the end of when she was always fully there. She had a lot of brain lesions, and she really started getting to the point where she just wasn't really Mom anymore. It was actually Christmas Eve. We were all opening presents, and she wasn't there, which was so heartbreaking to see, because she was Miss Christmas. And it's raining, and it's just perfect for sad stories right now. It's not sad, like, it's so happy because I got to have her as my mom, and that is the best gift in the world. Like, she was so incredible. Busting out the tissues early. I haven't even gotten to the visitation yet. Ugh. It's the rain. I blame the rain. It's happy though. Like, it's happy tears. I know it looks like I'm really sad, and I'm the world's ugliest crier, but like, I was so blessed and so fortunate. And is Chief thinking about coming in here? He heard me crying. His ESA training's coming in. Hey, buddy, go up there. So anyway, we kind of rushed the wedding because we wanted to make sure that she was able to be there. And even at that point, we didn't know if she was going to be able to make it to the wedding, whether she was going to be stuck in a hospital or if she actually was going to pass away before the wedding, because she really was on a downhill spiral at this point. We knew that this was our last year with her, and so we kind of rushed it. We got married in August 13th of 2016, and I got told days before the wedding that she might not be able to come because she was in the hospital and they didn't know if they were going to be able to release her. Just a true testament to how strong of a woman my mom is. She said, screw the doctors, I'm going. They released her because she was basically hospice anyway. There wasn't really much they could do for her at that point, and she was like, let me go. Like, I'm going to my daughter's wedding. You can't stop her. Like, she was just the strongest person when it came to her kids. So, Chief, you don't have to come over here. Okay, lay down. Lay down. He's like, Mom's upset. I gotta comfort her. Yes, okay, good boy. So anyway, she made it to the wedding. She was able to walk me down the aisle with my dad. Beautiful service. She actually was fully there for the wedding. It's one of the things that she was able to remember even when she was really struggling with her memory, and she remembered my wedding. So early December comes and they discover that she has a new tumor that was growing around her lower spinal cord, and it was slowly making her go paralyzed. And they started immediate treatment. She went to the hospital and she responded really well to the treatment. And I didn't know any of this. No one told me or my little sister that she was even in the hospital, because she was doing fine. Like, it wasn't something that we necessarily needed to know. Like, okay, she's back in the hospital, but she's getting treatment, she's okay. That day she was able to walk further than she had been able to walk in a long time. She was just doing really well. She seemed very, very healthy, very ready for this treatment. And then the morning of December 3rd, she hit the nursing button. We weren't with her. Like, my dad wasn't even there, which is good. That's really good. Like, I think God knew and my mom knew, like, he didn't need to be there for that part. Nobody needed to see that, but she hit the nursing button and said that something was wrong. She didn't feel right. And then she broke out in a cold sweat and her color drained, and then she passed away. And what had happened was all of that swelling and all the treatments, everything had really taken its toll on her stomach, and she was on all kinds of blood thinners at the end because she had blood clots in her lungs and something had burst and she bled out really fast. And another blessing, it was painless. It was just, she just fell asleep and then she was just gone. The hard part for all of us is we always expected that she's in the hospital, she's on the downhill, you need to come call to say goodbye. And nobody got that. No one got the opportunity to say goodbye to her. And I think that's part of the reason why it was so hard and just so unbelievable that she just all of a sudden wasn't there anymore. And when I got the call that morning, Saturday morning, my dad sounded completely normal. Like, kudos to him for being able to hold it together that long. Like, good job, Dad. I got the call. He asked if I was with my husband. I was like, yeah, we're sleeping. Like, he's sleeping. Yeah, he's right here. And then he was like, you know, your mom's gone. And I think I was in a state of kind of disbelief, but kind of knowing that she was gone. And one thing that I really wanted to touch on is the way that I reacted to it, because I feel like it's important to know how different people react to different kinds of news, and I didn't know that your brain could do this. So my dad told me that she passed away, and what happened was so weird. So I was looking forward, I was sitting in my bed looking forward at the TV, and it looked like this curtain came into my view where there was like a line, and it came straight down over my vision, and the curtain on top was black and white, and it drained all of the color from everything. I didn't know that that was a thing. I completely lost color vision for a while. I think just because I was so shocked. I looked at my husband and I said, she's gone. And then I asked my dad if he was okay, which was the dumbest question, because obviously he's not okay. Like, his wife just passed away. What do you ask? Why would you ask that? But color slowly came back. By the end of the conversation, we were kind of giggling because we deal with tragedy with humor. So by the end of the conversation, we were kind of laughing and able to make light of the situation a little bit, because like, what else are you supposed to do in that situation? It was just strange. It was the weirdest, most numbest, like, you just feel numb. It was just such a strange thing. And like, 1 second you'll feel fine, and then the next second you're just like crumpled on the floor bawling. And it's just so weird. And I don't know, it was strange. My little sister came over so that my dad could break the news over the phone, where she wasn't alone because she was at UT at the time and I was living in Knoxville, so she just had to drive to my apartment. I gave her the phone like right as she walked in. I wasn't dealing with that. I wasn't giving that news. Nope, that was my dad's news to give. And then we cuddled my dog. I think I made eggs. I'm pretty sure I made eggs. It's kind of a blur. I know I took a shower. She went back to her dorm to pack, and then we went to Nashville and, you know, to be with family. I only took 1 day off of work. I was back to work on Tuesday. Okay, she passed away on the 3rd. My 24th birthday was the 9th, so that was fun. It was fine, but also it was the company Christmas party, and I became a wasted, sad, pathetic person, and I cried. I have some amazing friends that helped me through it though. All of my coworkers, like, y'all are awesome. Brandy, thank you for driving me home in my sloppy mess. Yeah, I got wasted. Didn't help that I told the bartender it was my birthday. He gave me like free birthday shots. He made all my drinks extra strong. He didn't know my mom had just died. Not his fault. But I also almost stole a painting. Like, it was a wild moment. It was weird. But, you know, obviously December 14th is my parents' what would have been their 30th anniversary, so that was really sad. And then Christmas, and it was such a strange Christmas. It was so weird. Like, everyone's just kind of numb, and you're just kind of just going through the motions, and you're laughing with everybody, but you know that everyone inside is like crying. And our dad was upstairs a lot. We had family friends come over. And speaking of, my Uncle Steve, well, I have 2 Uncle Steves, one biological, one family friend, but he's still my uncle. And Steve Hindalong, he actually wrote a song written from my dad's perspective, from the things that my dad had told him that day. The day that my mom passed away, he came over just to talk to my dad. And he wrote the most beautiful song. I'm gonna leave a link in the description because it is so hauntingly beautiful, and it's using words and phrases and things that my dad had told him that day, and like, it was the most beautiful gift. Like, thank you so much, Steve. Like, that was so beautiful. And yeah, it was weird. So anyway, I'm getting way off tangent. I wanted to tell the story of my mom, so leave it at that. So 3 days after my mom passed away is when the signs started coming in, and it's not my place to tell my dad's stories, but he has some insane stories of day 3 of after she passed away. And 3, if you're Christian, is very significant because it took Jesus 3 days to rise from the dead. I'm not saying my mom was Jesus. Let's get that straight. I'm just saying maybe there's some biblical significance to 3 days and them being able to reach over and comfort us on the other side. I'm not sure. I know that they can reach over and comfort us now because there are so many signs, repeating numbers. Maybe I'll make a whole video on that one day, but my family has this repeating numbers thing all the time. Anyway, that all started, and my dad was getting most of it. He even had 2 dream visitations, which was amazing. I'm so happy that he was able to get that closure. My brother was getting some stuff. He also had some really crazy stuff happen that was not my mom, that I'll get him to tell you next time I'm home, which will be this summer. But Get ready for that story because it's wild. And then my sisters were getting like the numbers. I wasn't getting anything and I was kind of upset. I was like, excuse me, Mom, why don't I get anything? And I don't know, I kept talking to her and I was telling her I missed her and I was wanting signs. I was asking for signs and I never really got any, and I got one, but it wasn't a repeating number. It was something unique. Maybe I'll say that in a different video. This video is long enough, but I wasn't getting anything and I was really upset and I kept asking my mom. I was like, Mom, like why am I not getting anything? Everyone else is getting these signs and I'm not. So eventually I switched focus and I started praying to God again. I was listening to Christian music again because I am Christian, and stopped asking my mom for things and just prayed for overall closure and health for my family and have everybody grieve and be good. So one night I went to sleep and I was having this really weird dream. I don't remember much of the beginning part. I remember the visitation itself. The beginning part's a complete haze. No idea what happened. I know that I was in my old home that we lived in Irvine, California, when I lived in Orange County, California. I was in Irvine. We had this beautiful house and I was in that house in this dream and I was standing with my dad and my little sister. We were arguing about something. I don't remember. It was a really weird dream. It was all over the place, completely scattered. And I was arguing. They left the room. I'm standing in the master bedroom, my parents' bedroom, by myself, and then I end up leaving as well. And I walked down the hallway to go to the stairs because the stairs is a straight shot from the master bedroom. And I'm about to turn to head down the stairs in the dream when all of a sudden it gets like really like hyper realistic all of a sudden, and everything in me is telling me to turn around, like turn back, look that way, look towards the door. And it wasn't like my intuition telling me this, but it wasn't a physical voice either. It was a really weird, you can't explain half the stuff that happens in dream visitations. I just want to let you know that now. So I turn around and it's my mom standing in the room right where I had been. And my initial reaction was like to yell, cry, like, why are you here? What's going on? Because I immediately realized she was dead. She could not be there. It's not possible. And I want to say that I had dreams, I've dreamt about my mom before this, and I never in the dream connect that she's passed away. She always looks very sick because that was, the last 4.5 years of her life, she was very sick. And every time I dream about her, it was sick. And it's really upsetting to dream about that. And in the dreams, I would never say, I love you. I was never hugging her in the dreams. It was just, she was sick and she was there. Usually it involved stairs because she liked to try and go on the stairs by herself, even though it was so dangerous. And I had to like chase her down to make sure that she was safe on the stairs. So a lot of my dreams involved the stairs. And this time was completely different. Turn around and look at her. She just looked so healthy. Like she looked like how she looked, and she moves right now. She looked how she looked when we lived in California, before we moved to Tennessee, before she got diagnosed with cancer, before she started the treatments. She just looked so healthy and so beautiful, and I was really confused because she should not be there. And I start telling her that. I'm like, yell, kind of crying, like, how are you here? What are you doing? You can't be here. You're dead. Like, what is going on? And then all of a sudden I like run towards her, but I was still very hesitant because I was like, what is happening? And I'm standing in front of her and she stands in front of me, and I looked at her and I just asked, like, how are you here? What's going on? And she just looked at me and she bust out in this big smile and she said, I know you miss me. And I'm good, I'm not gonna cry. So it was really validation that she had been with me even though I wasn't getting signs. I really had just gotten validation that I told her I missed her. I was asking why I wasn't getting signs. I was kind of questioning whether I knew she was with me, but like, is she really with me? Like, what's going on? How come everyone else is getting signs and I'm not? And all of that was answered in that instant where she said, I know you miss me. And I started bawling, and I fell onto her. And remember, I said she's like 5 foot nothing. I'm like 5'7", 5'8". So like, I engulf her. She was tiny, and I hugged her in the dream. I have my face buried in her shoulder, and I'm hugging around her, and her arms are around me as well. And I can feel it's so hyper realistic. You can feel everything, and I felt her hug, and it's that I'm home. Sorry. You know when you hug your mom, it's a different feeling, and it was her. So now to get to another weird thing. I'm just gonna bust away from that. I'm not. While I was hugging her and I could feel her hugging me, it also felt like something else was hugging me, but it's gonna sound really weird. It didn't feel like a human or a human form. I didn't feel arms around me or a body on my back. It just felt like this kind of like a weighted blanket type of situation where it just felt like I knew it was a hug. Like, you know it's a hug, but it didn't feel like a person. And that's up to interpretation. I choose to interpret it by saying it was God or the Holy Spirit, because I am Christian and I do believe, I honestly think I got a hug from God. Not to toot my own horn, but I think I straight up got a hug from God. I don't know, but it felt like just this pressure, and it felt like a hug, but it didn't feel like a hug. I just knew it was a hug. I'm hugging my mom, bawling into her shoulder. I can feel like the warm tears just streaming down my face and soaking her shirt. And another odd thing that'll make sense in a minute once I kind of go into an analysis of visitation dreams. But when I close my eyes, normally when you close your eyes, you see black, right? Or you'll see some kind of faint light or some faint color. When I closed my eyes in this dream, I did feel, but I saw this incredibly just white light. It was so vibrant and strong, and like a million times stronger than the sun, bright, like just bright, but it didn't hurt. Like, it felt like a healing presence. I don't know how to explain it. It felt healing. It felt very just beautiful. It felt peace. It felt like love, just the embodiment of, this is gonna sound really weird. People are gonna think that I'm crazy. I'm just explaining what I saw. So it just felt like love and peace and hope and light and everything. It was so bright, and I'm just hugging my mom, and I feel this other hug behind me, and like, it was incredible, and like, I can tell my mom is smiling. And then I woke up, and this is not sadness, because also in that moment, like, I was bawling in my sleep. Like, my pillow was drenched, so wet, and I continued to have tears stream down my face. But the amount of just peace I felt in that moment, it was the most peaceful and comforting thing that you could ever feel. Like, think about hugging your dad or hugging your mom or your boyfriend or your husband. When you're just hugging them and you're fully engulfed in this hug, right? Especially, I feel it with my husband, and you just like full body hug, and you have your face planted in his chest, because he's 6'4", so he's a monster. My face is planted in his chest firmly, and like, it feels like this just release. Like, you just feel all the weight of the day, all the weight of anything just drop off of your body, and your breathing regulates, your heartbeat regulates, and it's just this immense feeling of peace. Now imagine that times like a millionfold is what I felt, and it was just so warm and inviting and comforting and peaceful and beautiful, and it was just, I can't explain it until you've experienced it. I don't know, it's It was so peaceful. And I never woke up from a dream about my mom feeling like that. I always felt angry or sad or confused, or just usually angry because I was mad that I was dreaming about her as sick when I could easily dream about her as healthy. What was I doing? Why couldn't I dream about her the way I wanted to dream about her? But this time it was just insane peace, and I knew immediately that it was actually my mom. I didn't have a doubt in my mind at that moment. I knew it was her. I started laughing in bed, trying not to wake up my husband, just quietly laughing and like bawling. And it was so nice. If anyone has any loved ones that have passed away, like, I honestly hope that you experience a visitation dream, because it's the most amazing experience. And it'll be seared into your brain forever. Obviously, the next day I start feeling doubts, and I was like, but was it? Like, was it really? Was I just grieving? Because I didn't fully believe in visitation dreams before that. Even though my dad had had two, I thought maybe it's just a grieving mechanism, a way that he's getting through the day and coping. And no, it's real. But at the time I was like, there's no way. Like, there's no way that this is an actual thing. And the entire next day, I'm getting the repeating numbers that I was upset that I didn't get before. And after my dream visitation, it was like boom, 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 all these repeating numbers. And like, I just knew that it was actually her. And I do the research and figure out what actually consists of a dream visitation. And that's what I'm gonna dive into next, is kind of an analysis. Like I said, when you wake up, you're just gonna know. Like, you just know it's a visitation dream. You know that it's them. It's later that the doubt creeps in. So if you wake up immediately and you're just like, what was that? I'm confused. Was it actually them? Most likely it wasn't. Like, most likely you just had a dream about them, because you dream about them all the time. I still dream about my mom all the time, but I've only had one dream visitation. I would love to have more, Mom, if you would like to come back. No, I still get signs from her all the time, but normal dreams are kind of segmented, odd. Like I explained how my dream was before it became a dream visitation. It didn't quite make sense. You can't really remember all of the pieces. It's kind of like oddly segmented and you're just all over the place. In a dream visitation, everything makes sense. It's perfectly linear. You will remember everything. It's just perfectly laid out for you in this perfect line. Like I explained to my mom in the very beginning when I first saw her, your loved one in a dream visitation will appear healthy and loving and happy. They won't be angry or sad or sick. Like, they are on the other side. They are fully healed. They understand everything. They know what you're going through, and they're not gonna come back angry. They understand, and they're so happy, and they're at peace, and they feel what you feel in that dream, that insane calmness and that peace that you feel in that dream, that's what they feel all the time on the other side. Like, they're just so at peace. They will come to you with some kind of message, whether it's conveyed physically by speaking or not. There is a clear message that you will understand through the dream. Mine was that my mom was with me the whole time. Like, she was there, she was watching me, and I had doubts, but she told me, like, I know that you miss me. Like, I am here. Sorry. There's a message that they want to convey. And usually it comes through to the people that need it the most. That's why my dad had 2 visitations. I got one just because I was very doubtful, I think. Everyone else is getting these signs, and I was either not paying attention or actually not getting signs. I probably just wasn't paying attention close enough. But I needed that visitation for my own calm of mind. And they're usually just messages of reassurance, like, I'm here, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm okay, you can move on. When you wake up with that sense of extreme calm and patience and love. You don't wake up anxious or angry or sad. You wake up in perfect, just calmness every time. There's not gonna be, like I said, when I woke up, I started laughing. Like, it was just the most calm I've ever felt in my entire life, which is saying something, because I'm a very calm person. Like, it takes a lot to get me riled up. Usually I'm very chill, and that level of calm is something that I aspire to get again, which I will eventually when I join my mom on the other side. But as of right now, I don't think it's possible in this earthly realm. And like I said, when I closed my eyes, I saw this bright light. It was white. It was so much more brilliant than the sun. It did not hurt. It felt just warm and calm and patient and loving and all of that. That is another characteristic of a dream visitation, and it's because it is the energy that's on the other side. When you pass away, that's what you become one with. Now, I am Christian, so I believe that that light is God's divine light. I think that it is heavenly light, and others may think it's just the energy on the other side. Like, whatever you believe, it's just energy on the other side, and it appears differently to people. To me, it was when I closed my eyes. To others, it'll be surrounding your loved one in like a soft glow, or the whole room will be white, but your loved one is standing there. It's different for everybody, but you will see some form of this white, calming light. In these dreams, the loved one does become the direct focus of your dream. They're not just a background player playing a role or being a character in your dream. They are the direct focus. They have your 100% attention. Nothing else matters in the dream except for them. And like I said, you will recognize that they are passed on. You'll recognize that this just doesn't make sense. Like, they're not supposed to be there. You will know that. Whereas in a normal dream, you won't necessarily realize until you wake up that, wow, I dreamt about her again, or wish I didn't see her like that, or kind of like, I mean, you have people playing roles in dreams all the time. It doesn't always necessarily make sense. But in this dream, everything makes sense. Perfectly linear. You know exactly what they're trying to convey. They are your direct focus. So usually these dreams occur because the loved one is trying to send you a message. Like I said, usually it's some kind of reassurance or something. Sometimes it might actually be a message from what I've read. I don't know. Mine was just reassurance. And they come to you in dreams if you're not really paying attention to the signs in real life. Like, if you're paying attention, you will see the signs of them communicating with you and saying that they're with you. Like I said, my whole family was getting this repeating number. I wasn't noticing it. I didn't see it. I wasn't getting any of these signs. And I think it's because I wasn't paying attention. I was being too dense. She was leaving signs everywhere, and I was either brushing them off or not paying attention. And that's the problem in our waking life, is you're gonna push stuff off, or you're not going to see it. There's gonna be like a specific bird that you used to watch with your loved one, or you loved that bird, or they loved that bird. It'll fly past you and you won't even notice it. Or the repeating numbers. You'll get it on a receipt and your immediate response is to crumple the receipt and throw it in the trash. Like, there are signs that they give you that you might not notice. Just the other day, when I was supposed to record this video and didn't because it was too much for me at the time and I pushed it off as long as I could, I went to the mall with my husband for a couple of just errands, and when we were in the parking lot walking, I saw a Chico stick wrapper. And if anyone doesn't know what that is, it's amazing candy. My mom loved them. We had them in the house all the time when I was growing up. I have not been able to find them since. I'm sure they're around. Like, I haven't actually searched for them, but I don't think they're at the mall that we were at, because I've gone in the food stores and everything that's at that mall. Never seen Chico sticks. So the fact that there was a Chico stick wrapper in the parking lot, I haven't seen a Chico stick in like over a decade. I felt like that was a sign. And I kind of brushed it off, but I kept it in the back of my mind because I was like, is mom saying she's with me when I'm making this video? And I was researching all of this and you know, learning about the signs that you brush off and you don't pay attention to. So it officially, like, it stuck in my mind more than it normally would have. And I joked about it at first, but I kept it back there. And then my husband and I were in Bed Bath & Beyond, and obviously you have to buy stuff when you're there. They have giant sales. Like, what are you doing in there if you don't have to buy something? I got 3 candles that are $35 each for $30 total. 3! They're each supposed to be $35. I got them for $30. Like, Bed Bath & Beyond, y'all. Awesome sales. But we were in there, random side note, and we were checking out, and behind the cashier there was all these signs, and I looked up and I saw like a picture of a beach, and I saw the San Juan coordinates on one of the signs, and I'm in San Juan, in case you didn't know that, near San Juan. I'm in Puerto Rico. And then my attention immediately went from that to this big sign. It didn't particularly stand out from the other signs, but I immediately was drawn to it, and in big white letters it said, "Love big." And I don't know how common that phrase is. Usually I see people say like, "Love you more," or just "love more," or something like that. I don't typically see "love big" as a phrase, and it stood out to me. The sign had other sayings on it, but this was in much bigger print, and it was a different color. It was white from the rest of the print, and it stood out because in my family we have this thing where we say like, "Love you bigger, 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 bigger," and it's like this battle. I still do it with my dad all the time, but it's "Love you bigger," and whoever, the winner of "Love you bigger" is the one that says +1, because that means +1 more than you could ever say. You know, we've been doing this since I was really little, so lay off. Eventually I'm gonna get a +1 tattoo on my wrist for that specific reason, just to represent my whole family. But to see that sign with that specific phrase, "Love you big," it was just so, right after seeing the Chico stick wrapper, like not long after seeing that wrapper, and I realized like my mom was trying to say, I'm here. Here's like, you're making this video, and I'm with you for that. And that's another reason I didn't make it. I was too emotional. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to make it through it. And that being said, those signs can easily be brushed off. And sometimes people need a little bit more than just that little sign from their loved one. So they have to go in a dream, and they come to you, and they'll make sure you know, hey, pay attention. Like, I am here. That's probably what my mom was thinking. She was probably like, "Child, wake up. I am right here. I've been here. Pay attention to me." It was probably my mom. My mom was absolutely just an incredible, incredible person, and so strong. And some of my best memories with her are like just the boring stuff. Like, you never think about it until after someone's gone. But like my mom, we used to do big stuff all the time. Like, we went to Disneyland. We had annual passes. We went to Disneyland twice a week, every week, all summer, every summer. Like, you think those would be the moments that I remember, but the moments I most remember are like her blasting Michael Jackson and us cleaning the living room and polishing furniture, or just having a random dance party just because. I'm sad that my kids will never know her, but she'll know my kids, and I know that she'll be there. So I hope that this video, I don't know, maybe helped you realize that there is something after death. Maybe it helped you not be as scared. Maybe it helped you sort through your own dream visitation. If you have had a dream visitation, please tell me the story in the comments. I would love to hear your personal stories on dream visitations. Tell me about your mom. Tell me about a funny story with your parents, or any siblings or a family member. Remember not to take anything for granted. It's really, like I said, it's the little things that will stick out and you'll remember the most. You know, just sitting on the couch and watching a movie. Those are the moments that you're gonna remember the most. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I wasn't too rambly, because I tend to get rambly when I don't have a script. I don't write scripts, but I do have like bullet points I need to get through, and that's way more organized. This was just rambling about my mom. I hope you didn't mind it. I hope y'all have an amazing Saturday. Hug your mom today, and your dad. If you're not with your parents today, just call them. They'll love it. And you'll love it. I know that you think you won't love it, but I always enjoy talking to my family, and I know that you will too.